Hello everybody and welcome back to another review. For the first time in quite a while, I must say. Been working on the War Machine Yoga channel, been in some dramas, but that's not the point. We're not going to be talking about that. We're with the Shrek 2 review, finally coming at you. Yeah, this took way longer than it should have, mainly because I've been doing stuff on War Machine Yoga channel. It's been drama, but good thing is I'm doing it now, and yeah, this is exciting, and I'm gonna be collabing with the great Buzz Lightning, because he wanted to review all the Shrek films with me, and I thought, why not? We both love Shrek, and haven't really done any reviews with him apart from the first Shrek review on the Inoga channel, so why not? So this review is going to be the same format as the last Shrek review, all these categories: animation, and there's going to be a new category, and it's going to be like consistency in the franchise. So if it's consistent in the franchise, like it makes sense from where the franchise was previously left off. So yeah, let's just get into it.
Oi, my G-Words, it's Buzz here, and today me and War Machine Ogre are going to review Shrek 2, so yeah, let's go.
Okay, so when you're making a movie sequel, let's talk about story here now. When you're making a movie sequel, one of the ingredients in that recipe is make the sequel bigger and more larger scale, unless they're trying to do a fresh start and it's almost like a soft reboot. If it's just a direct sequel, normal sequel, it should be bigger, because if it isn't, you'll just be underwhelmed because, the one before that was bigger. What's even the point in making another one when it's smaller scale? So yeah, this got to be bigger scale, and boy, it was definitely higher scale. The first film was basically one long journey and back, just running into a few inconveniences and all that. That was most of the first film, but here we get to go to loads of different areas. There's a giant gingerbread man in this one. Did you see a giant gingerbread man in the first film? I don't think so. There was also a lot more action, so that makes it more high scale. There was only a bit of action in the first Shrek film, only really like 2 scenes that I would call action scenes. Even the climax wasn't even an action scene. This film has quite a lot of action scenes and pretty good ones too, which is great. So yeah, this is higher scale. And also, when you're making a sequel, you can't just recycle the same thing as the first one, like just do a rehash. You gotta do something different. And honestly, the Shrek films, the reason why I love this franchise, and even quite like the third one, is because the story always is necessary and makes sense. Like from the first one throughout the rest of the franchise, it feels like one continuous story. Oh, Shrek meets the love of his life, gets married to her, she's a princess. Oh, guess in the second film he's got to meet his parents and prove that he is worthy of being the husband of a princess, even though he is an ogre. Does that well. In the third film, he is basically royalty. Now he's got to be king, but that's a problem for him. Boom, there's your story. He's also a father. Going to the fourth film, misses his old life, goes back, and you know the gist of it by now. So yeah, that's just, it's bigger scale and everything, and also the story, the idea of this story. Ogre, big scary monster everyone hates, married to a princess, meets royalty, and actually stays with them for quite a bit. I would love to see how that goes. That seems like a very interesting idea, and also, it is really entertaining, and the pacing's really good, and there's not too many plots or storylines. There's no big massive plot holes or anything. It's pretty easy to understand, and we also get to see the characters do some different things. It's a sequel, we got to see them do different stuff, and Shrek's a human. I mean, if you watch the first Shrek film and someone asked, hey, would you like to see this guy become human temporarily? I think you would be pretty curious to see what it would be like human. And so yeah, the story's pretty good. No, not too many plots lines. It's not a big mess. No dumpster fire. No really bad character decisions or anything. no, what is there? No big plot holes either. It's everything all makes sense. Everything comes together. Everything it flows well. You know, from one scene to another, it flows well. So, yes, this film has good story.
So right, we're gonna be talking about the story right now. So yeah, it's simple and it's sweet. Like, it doesn't need to be too complex because like it's amazing. Right, so the story is basically right. Shrek is like, oh, Fiona doesn't love me basically because I'm not perfect and I need to be beautiful. So he gets the potion that makes him beautiful, and then Prince Charming comes in and like, oh, I'm Shrek now. Like, chef's kiss story. Like, it just works with Shrek so well, and like, yeah, that's all I needed to say. Also, to add on to that, words cannot describe how good this story is, like, at all.
Now the characters in this film, they're unbelievable. Seriously, like the characters like Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey, all those characters from the previous films, we all love them, and we love them even more in this film. It was also fun to see Donkey be a horse. That was cool to see, and Shrek would ride him as a human. You know, ride him, not in the dirty way. But that was cool to see. Iconic duo, and they have even better mystery and better relationship. And Shrek starting to full on properly see Donkey as a good friend. And in the Shrek film, we mostly saw Shrek just be irritated by Donkey throughout the film, and they only really became friends in like the last maybe 10 minutes. So it was cool to see them like best friends in the film because, yes, they are an iconic duo in cinema. And, you know, Fiona's cool as well. I mean, we get to see her as an ogre for this entire film. So we get to see Shrek and Fiona as an actual couple for the entire film, which is great because, like, Shrek, we just saw him as a loner for the previous film for most of it. And yeah, that's great. And one of the reasons I really like Shrek's character is he's basically a simp, but, you know, in a nice way of saying it, he cares for Fiona so much that he wants to change for her, even though being an ogre is all that he's known and what he's been loving. And, you know, when he turned to human, people finally accepted him, and he actually had kind of a good time. But, you know, Fiona then thought when Shrek said, yo, we can stay as human forever, you know, Fiona said, no, I want to be ogres. That's some good character stuff right there. Not only that, this film has the best Shrek villains. Yeah, I said it. Better than Lord Farquaad, you know. Fairy Princess, you know. What am I saying? Fairy Godmother, you know. She's not really cliche or cheesy or just over dramatic in everything. I mean, you can kind of see where she's coming from, to be honest. She's almost like care about Fiona, kind of, but really she just wants her son to have a Fiona instead of Shrek. But I mean, for someone who's like a fairy godmother, you wouldn't really expect that you'd be able to take her seriously, but you actually can. She manages to be entertaining while you watch her, but menacing at the same time. It's just magic.
Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about the characters in Shrek 2, and in my personal opinion, the best character in the whole entirety of the Shrek franchise is the fairy godmother, purely due to this one line.
He climbs to the highest bloody room of the tallest bloody tower. And what does he find? Some gender-confused wolf.
She also had an amazing musical number, and like that was so cool at the end. And yeah, that's really it. She's the best villain in the franchise in my opinion. So yeah, let's move on to the next character. Puss in Boots is just 10 out of 10 new character, bro. Like, when he does the eye thing, like, that's the most OP power anyone has in the Shrek franchise. So yeah. Yo, the development the dad goes through throughout this movie is just like 10 out of 10, bro. Like, at the start of the movie, he wants Fiona to go with Prince Charming, and then he's like, nah, fam, he didn't even give her the potion. That's how, like, 10 out of 10 this guy is, bro. Nah, but everyone's forgetting the actual greatest character in the entire Shrek franchise, and it's this guy from Fairy Godmother's Factory, right? He is 10 out of 10, bro. Like, the development he goes through throughout, like, the minute he's in this movie, 10 out of 10, bro.
Alrighty then, now the next category is going to be animation. Now, honestly, there's not too much to talk about here. There's no big difference. There's no big animation style that's very noticeable. It wasn't like, whoa, they really redesigned everything, right, didn't they? No, not really. The only thing I can really say that's different from the first film is that it looks a lot smoother. Like in the first film, I'm not saying the animation wasn't good. It was incredible. Some of the best animation I've seen in a film. But you've got to admit, comparing it to newer films, it just didn't look as smooth as things you see nowadays. Like, it looked realistic, just didn't look that smooth. But when you look at the Shrek 2 animation, man, it is smooth. Maybe it's just me, maybe you haven't noticed any difference, but here's a picture to show you that it does look different. So just so you know I'm not chatting out my ass, here, look at this picture. It can't just be me who notices quite a difference in how smooth the animation looks in these two films. Like, Shrek 1, incredible animation like I said, but it's not the smoothest thing ever. Shrek 2 animation, however, you know, incredible animation, and looks really smooth. If you couldn't tell, the left picture is from Shrek 1, the right picture is from Shrek 2. Get a good look at that. It can't just be me who thinks Shrek 2 looks way smoother, right? Tell me in the comments if you agree.
Nah, I don't think the animation has changed at all, in my opinion, but I would like to say that the animation is still as good as it was in the first one. So, yeah, that's my opinion on the animation. Nothing much has changed.
Now, the comedy in this film is, honestly, I'd probably say, better than the original, just a bit. First off, I want to say, it still pokes fun at Disney. Little Mermaid, yo, let's make her get eaten by sharks. Oh, Sleeping Beauty, let's make her fall off a little car thing. To be honest, that weren't that funny, honestly. But honestly, a lot of the times this film is funny. It doesn't even have to try that hard. Like, simply a bird dying was pretty funny to me. And honestly, Puss in Boots' entrance, he was a great character. And got a good few laughs out of him, which, you know, instantly makes him quite a likeable character. And also that dinner scene near the beginning of the film where they first go to Far, Far Away. The awkwardness in that scene is honestly just hilarious. Yeah, it's also got a bit of that adult humour as well. And also, I don't know if this was a joke or not, but I mean, if Shrek 2 was made today, it would probably get cancelled for this.
What does he find? Some gender-confused wolf. Some gender-confused wolf.
Some gender-confused wolf. Some gender-confused wolf. Some gender-confused wolf.
And be aware, it was only 2004. Transgender people definitely existed back then. So yeah, this was definitely poking fun at a group of people. The only reason it didn't get cancelled was because people weren't very soft back then. And honestly, that's another reason why I love this film. You wouldn't get humour like this in animated films today. So yeah, that's why I love the comedy. You know, it's just, you'd never see it in films today. It's unique. Also, I want to talk about that scene where they're on their way to Far, Far Away in that big onion. Comedy.
Alright, the comedy. Let's talk about that. So, the original 10 out of 10 comedy, right? Shrek 1, 10 out of 10 comedy, right? I want to say the second movie is amazing at comedy. 11 out of 10 comedy, right? And most of the best jokes come from the Fairy Godmother. So, women can be funny, but they think haha period is funny, which makes them unfunny. So, yeah, take Fairy Godmother as inspiration to be funny.
Now, the soundtrack for this film, oh boy, you know, this is one of my favourite movie soundtracks, probably. It feels like every song in this film was made for the film because it just fits in so much. At the beginning, Accidentally in Love, that is basically what their relationship is. They were accidentally in love. And Changes works because, like, I mean, he changed into a human. and he wants to change for Fiona. And don't even get me started on how good I Need a Hero is. I mean, it's sung by a different person. It's actually sung by the voice actress of Fairy Godmother. And I mean, not gonna lie, I think she does it better. And the original song was already amazing, but like, not gonna lie, the Shrek 2 version actually sounds better in my opinion. I know, might be a hot take, but it just does, and it just fits so well with the climax, which I'll talk about the climax in other section. Yeah, it just fits in so much. I can't imagine any of these songs being replaced by different songs because they just work so well. So yeah, soundtrack is brilliant, flawless, pretty much.
Alright, so the soundtrack in this movie is really great. Really like most of the songs in this movie, right? And like, again with the songs, like in the last movie, I really like how the song fits in with what's going on in the scene. I Need a Hero makes surprisingly intense boss battle music near the end. It's really good song, by the way, but like, added to that scene makes it perfect, right? It's such an enjoyable experience, and yeah. Also, right, some of my favourite songs from this soundtrack include Accidentally in Love, Changes, and Funky Town, but if I'm being completely honest, all the songs are good in this movie. There's no bad song in this movie, if I'm being honest.
So drama in the film, yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. I'd say it's kind of on par with the first film, except there's a bit more of it. So it's better than the first film, I guess. It's nothing fabulous. It's nothing, whoa, mind-blowing. It's not Marriage Story level. But I'd say it is pretty good, you know. Surprise, surprise. Fiona's family and friends of family do not like Shrek. I know it's a big shock, right? And, you know, Fairy Godmother, she, you know, has fairly good motives. I mean, I don't condone what she's doing, but pretty decent motives, you know. She feels like her son's been robbed and, scammed or whatever. What else? What am I saying? Yeah, the dad and Shrek don't have a very good relationship, but I like how it isn't just cliche. Yo, if you mess with my daughter, I'll kill you, bro. Where they just have beef simply because he's overprotective. Nah, it's because he's an ogre in it, and they have bad reputations, and there's nothing really too cliche about them arguing. There's nothing like, yo, that's my daughter, you know, she's my little girl. He doesn't say anything like that, really. And it actually takes character development for him to start liking Shrek. Like, Harold is an underrated character. He's one of the best parts about this film, one of the best characters. But in a lot of other films where it's just daughter's boyfriend and the dad, it's just sort of like, yo, we can get along now, I guess, for the daughter, simply because of that. But, you know, Harold, it weren't really like that. Fiona didn't really have a big talk with him about how good Shrek is. Shrek himself unintentionally proved to Harold that he was right for Fiona, which is great development. Yeah, we're talking about drama. So the arguments in this film, compared to other animated kids movies, these are quite realistic. I mean, comparing them to others, like Disney ones, arguments like that you wouldn't see in real life. But I feel like the way a man acts in an argument, Shrek has that on point. And the way Fiona acts in the argument is like how women would act in an argument. I say that's quite on point. I know from experience. I'm joking, not really. So, yeah, drama is pretty good. I mean, Shrek and Fiona argue. Very realistic. Couples argue. So, yeah, drama, you know, good stuff.
Alright, so drama. I have been in a lot of drama, especially recently, so I must be an expert on this. So the drama in this movie, I can say, is so good, man. Like, it's just near perfect. But I really want to focus on that scene, you know, with the dinner table and Shrek and the dad is fighting. That's a really good scene. Great combination of both drama and comedy. And, like, it's really intense to watch. You should go watch Shrek 2. That's all I have to say for drama.
Now, a movie sequel is very hard to make. They're either terrible because of I don't know, they just try to be too much like the original film and don't try anything different. And sometimes they try and be as funny as the first film, which makes it just feel really forced or something. Or sometimes they just have big continuity errors and it doesn't make any sense. Or instead of being too much like the first film, they try and be too different from the first film, and it just doesn't feel consistent in the franchise. A movie sequel is hard to make because they got to follow up that first film. And Shrek 2, in my personal opinion, is a better film than the first Shrek film, and its consistency in the franchise is just perfect. Like I've already stated in this video, the whole Shrek franchise is like one story just split into parts because one movie would be too long. And I mean especially the second film. I mean, the second film doesn't take too long after the first film for starters. They get married at the end of the first film, and then they have a honeymoon near the start of the first film. It's like a little montage. And then when the film actually starts to get going, it's like right after their honeymoon. I don't know when honeymoons happen, how long after the wedding they happen, or how long they last, but I'm going to assume it's not very long, so it's not really a big time gap. And the film takes it to where you'd expect it to take. If someone was to ask you, what do you think would be in a Shrek sequel, you'd think it would have something to do with, the royal family in Far, Far Away. Well, it wasn't called Far, Far Away yet, I don't think, in the first Shrek film, but whatever. You'd think it would be about Fiona's family and accepting Shrek because she is royalty, and you are going to be curious to see how royalty reacts to Shrek. And also, since Fiona is saved by Shrek, she's going to want to reunite with her family. And yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect from a sequel. It just makes sense. It doesn't do something completely random like, in the previous film, an ogre found his love. In the next one, let's go to bloody space and fight alien T-Rexes or something. No, don't do anything like that. It's pretty consistent. Tone is consistent. Comedy is same kind of comedy. Throw a bit of adult jokes in there. They still do that. The animation, more or less the same, and it feels like a follow-up to the first film. It doesn't just feel like, the first film was a complete story, didn't need a sequel, but it made us a lot of money, so let's do something completely random in the second film. No, it weren't like that. It feels like this film had a reason to exist, and yeah, it did a perfect job at being a sequel. And that is because it doesn't do the mistake that a lot of other movie sequels does. It doesn't try and be a copy of the first film. It tries to be a follow-up of the first film, and it succeeds very, very well at that.
Consistency in the franchise. Yeah, it's consistent. I don't know what else to say, really.
So, entertainment/pacing. Well, the film is certainly entertaining, from the comedy to the action and to the intenseness of, scenes like that dinner scene, it's very intense, and also just a beautiful animation. I'd say you're gonna have a good time watching this on your screen. So yeah, it is definitely entertaining, and the pacing is good. It doesn't just randomly go really slow at some point in the film, and altogether as a film, it's not too fast and it's not too slow. Pacing and entertainment, yep, top notch, very good.
Pacing and entertainment with the drama, the soundtrack, basically what I've said so far, the characters too. I think that in combination makes it an entertaining movie, and the pacing too, man. It's not too slow, but it's not too fast, and that's the way I like it, and I think most people like it.
Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about other kind of things about the movie that wouldn't really be a part of a specific category. They're just something about the movie that I either like or dislike. And I mainly want to talk about the final bloody battle. Or the climax, whatever you want to call it. Now, the song I Need a Hero made by, sang by, I forgot her name, but she voices Fairy Godmother, is better than the original in my opinion. Might be a hot take, but it is. And honestly, the original was great, I've already said that. And if this song wasn't put in this climax here, then honestly, it wouldn't be as good. I admit, it'll still be pretty damn good, but just not as. I mean, it would still be great. I mean, it's got a giant gingerbread man, for crying out loud. It's got, cannonball things, if that's what you want to call him. I mean, the saddest death in movie history is obviously Mongo's gumdrop button. And, just seeing Shrek try and break into the castle with Mongo, Gingy, all his friends, while, Fairy Godmother is singing, and, Fiona and Charming could kiss at any moment, and, it would ruin everything. Like, that could happen at any moment. So really, they've got to get in that castle fast, so it's very intense. And the I Need a Hero just makes it feel even more intense, because like Buzz said before, it is surprisingly good battle music. And it turns out that the kiss that Charming gave Fiona did not work because she had the wrong tea. What a bloody twist. It was quite shocking to see him kiss her, because you think, whoa, no, this has ruined everything now, what's Shrek gonna do? But, I mean, she didn't drink the potion. But anyway, it was still amazing. And, when, Shrek actually gets into the castle and onto that dance place thing where Fiona is, and he says, "Oi, you! Back away from my wife." Chills, literal chills. Shrek is literally a legend. I mean, man, I love this climax to bits, honestly. It is literally amazing. The animation is beautiful, and the music is great, and everything about this climax is great. Like, we even see Puss in Boots, do like 1v, 4 knights or something, I can't remember. It was at least 4. One, cat versus 4 knights. That was great. I mean, it was some character development for Puss, I'd say, because Puss went from, trying to kill Shrek at first, to then, risking his life so he can get to his princess. That's some good character development in such a limited amount of time. I mean, it is good. I'm just gonna stop talking about the climax. All I gotta say is it's perfection, and I can watch it on repeat all the time and never get bored. It was great. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention this, but also Harold sacrificing himself to save Shrek. That's brilliant character development there. And he turns into a frog, and the queen, I forgot her name to be honest, don't know how, even still accepts him as a frog. So there's a little bit of a Princess and the Frog reference there, because Shrek likes to do some good old references to old fairy tales. Man, that was actually quite an emotional moment when we thought he died, because, he sacrificed his life for Shrek, the guy he hated at the beginning of the film. How can you not love this? It's perfect character development. Anyway, I'm going to give Shrek 2 A+. I know, maybe I'm going too far. Maybe I love this film a bit too much. Maybe it doesn't deserve the score. Tell me what you think in the comments. But honestly, I love this film. It's my favourite animated film of all time. So I do think it deserves an A+. Buzz, what do you think?
Alrighty, so my score for Shrek 2 is going to be an A+, because I think they nailed everything I've talked about so far, and I think it's a near perfect movie, right? Nothing's perfect, but this is near perfect, 99% perfect, right? But yeah, I think that's going to be end of my part, right? So go subscribe to my channel if you want. If you're wondering about the gameplay, it's a mod that me and Hardman Tim are working on. So go check out Hardman Tim's channel. I'll get Olga to put both of our channels in the description below. But anyway, keywords, like this video if you want, because I agree with free will. Subscribe to Olga if you want, because I agree with free will. And subscribe to me if you want, because I agree with free will. Alrighty, goodbye, G-words.
Anyway, everyone, that's going to be it for this video. I want to give a huge thanks to Buzz Lightning for collabing with me on this review. The review wouldn't have been half as good as it is without Buzz, because you know Buzz just makes everything so much better, and his channel will be linked in the description, and he has now peer pressured me to put Hardman Tim's channel in the description, so I guess his channel will be there too. So yeah, please tell me your thoughts of Shrek 2 down below. I'm sorry that this video was so long. Maybe it's unwatchable because of how long it was. I'm sorry, I didn't really want it to be this long, but man, Shrek 2 is a good film, so there's a lot to talk about. But anyway, my next review is probably next month, because currently I'm uploading monthly. Sorry about that, but hopefully soon I can start uploading more frequently again. Anyway, goodbye, and I love you.